At first glance, this scene doesn't seem very important. It's just Tina making mashed potatoes in the kitchen. But as the scene plays out, every mistake starts to feel a lot heavier than it should. What starts out as frustration slowly starts to turn into a moment that changes how Tina feels about herself in every single way. In this scene, we mainly follow Tina as she works in the kitchen. Sydney is nearby, checking on the food and making sure everything is running smoothly, while Marcus is also in the kitchen, but focused on his own tasks. Even though they aren't constantly interacting, their presence shapes what is happening around Tina at every single moment she's there. This scene happens in Season 1, Episode 4, Dogs, where Tina is still adjusting to the changes that have been made in the kitchen. The way things are being done feels different to her, which affects her confidence. She wants to do her job well, but the pressure of the kitchen makes everything feel harder than it should. We see this when, in the first part of the scene, Tina is focused on making mashed potatoes. As she works, things keep going wrong. She burns herself, cuts herself, and then messes up the milk. Each mistake adds to her frustration. But then, to her surprise, Sydney had already prepared another pot of milk. When Tina tastes the potatoes made with it, she reacts with a simple, but yet very powerful, damn.
Damn.
Later in the episode, Tina finishes the mashed potatoes and brings them to Sydney. She clearly expects the food not to be good enough. Instead, Sydney enjoys them. This reaction catches Tina off guard and leaves her feeling relieved after preparing herself for criticism. After Tina's moment, the episode shifts to Marcus working in the kitchen. This quick transition shows that while Tina is having her own moment and experience, the rest of the restaurant continues to move at the same time. This scene stands out because it shows a shift. It starts with stress, mistakes, and doubt, and ends with approval. Through one simple task, we see Tina move from frustration to a moment of success.
Wait a second. I recognize those sparks.
Oh, you're right. Those are like the ones at the start of the episode. And then it clicked. Everything in that transition started to feel intentional. Those orange sparks aren't just a visual effect. They're there to represent success. I've already seen that color earlier in the episode, so when it shows up again here, it feels like the show is trying to remind me of something. Then it cuts straight to Marcus zesting an orange, and the meaning becomes even clearer. Marcus is finding success in baking. He's focused, he's excited, and he's finally discovering something that feels like his true passion. That's when I start thinking back to Tina's moment right before this cut. Her success looks different, but it's just as real. Tina's passion has always been taking care of people, especially through food, the same way she takes care of her family. In this scene, her success comes from being appreciated for that. When Sydney enjoys her mashed potatoes, it's the first time Tina really feels valued in this new kitchen. The orange sparks end up connecting these two moments. Marcus is growing creatively, and Tina is opening up emotionally. And that flash of orange shows me that success and change are beginning to spread through the entire kitchen, not just for one person.
The second literary device used in this episode is lighting. Lighting presents many aspects, including those of emotion, which we have seen in the Deadpool vs. Wolverine movie. However, in this scene, I believe that it depicts Sydney as a savior to Tina, just like how Jesus Christ is a savior to humanity. Now that might seem like a stretch, but with the connections between this episode and savior-like appearances in other forms of media, I believe that this connection stands. At first glance, the lighting in this scene doesn't seem that important. However, it highlights the conflict between Tina and Sydney. This is seen in the dark lighting shown in the kitchen, presenting tension between the two. However, when Tina finally stops resisting, Sydney is seen backlit while Tina gradually starts to glow.
It's great. Thank you, Chef. Now, let's hurry up and roll before we get rolled, yeah?
I don't believe this is a coincidence, as other forms of media, such as Overwatch, show a backlit angel descending down upon people acting as their savior. This lighting puts us into the mind of Tina. This gradual change in the lighting symbolizes Tina's softening, lessening her defensive side in a moment of recognition, suggesting a rescue from Sydney.
Wait, is that my favorite song, Loved by You by Kirby?
You all set with these supplies and everything?
Wait, I think it is. And you know what else it is? A primary literary device that was used in the Tina scene. As the scene unfolded, the lyrics seemed to reflect Tina's internal thoughts, rather than just setting the mood. When the song says, it immediately connects to Tina's emotional state after Mikey's death. Even though she doesn't openly talk about it to her coworkers, his absence has left her feeling isolated and unsure of where she belongs in the restaurant. Another lyrics that stands out to me is, this connects to Tina's resistance to the changes Sydney brings into the kitchen. Tina pushes back against the new systems because holding on to the old ways helps her feel connected to Mikey. To her, change feels like losing him all over again. The lyric reflects Tina's fear of being judged by Sydney, who is much younger and professionally trained. Tina assumes that someone like Sydney won't see her value in the restaurant, which is why Sydney's praise at the end of the scene feels so meaningful to her. In that moment, Tina feels accomplished and relieved, finally feeling seen rather than judged.
In 2021, over 727,000 suicides were reported worldwide, with 480,000 of them being male. Across the world, men die by suicide at a significantly higher rate than women. Many men are less likely to talk about their mental health or seek help. Social expectations like being strong, self-reliant, and emotionally reserved can make vulnerability feel like failure. The result is a silent crisis, where pain is hidden until it becomes unbearable. Mikey is remembered as loud, charismatic, and full of life, the kind of person everyone assumes is doing fine. But beneath that surface, he's struggling with addiction, financial stress, and overwhelming sense of responsibility. Like many men, Mikey carries the weight alone, believing that he has to hold on to everything together without letting anyone see him break.
Jacob, can you turn that down? Oh wait, now that I think about it. A strong text-to-text connection can be found between Tina's scene and the Backyardigans episode 8, The Key to the Nile, because both focus on a character's emotional growth and development through acceptance and validation. We first see this in Tina's scene, where she struggles with self-doubt and fear of judgment while making mashed potatoes, worrying that her work won't meet Sydney's standards. Her relief and quiet pride when Sydney enjoys her food makes a moment where Tina finally feels seen and valued. Similarly, in The Key to the Nile, Princess Cleopatra begins the episode believing success should come easily to her. But through her journey, she learns that cooperation, respect, and appreciation of others are essential to achieving her goal. Both characters move from insecurity or pride toward emotional growth by recognizing the importance of others' perspectives. Even though one story is a serious kitchen drama and the other happens to be a children's musical, both show that personal success and confidence come from connection, humility, and being acknowledged by those around you. Our group's future prediction questions. How many more people will Sydney aid to find their passion? How many more people will Sydney save? Will Marcus and Tina continue to find success with their passions? Will Tina and Sydney start to bond together more? Will they create a new menu together? And finally, will we learn more about Mikey and his death?